Good morning. It's Wednesday morning, and I'm here with Norma Cowie Talks. Today is the first Wednesday of the month of September, and I'm here with the with my tarot card reading. Sorry, there's something just come up on my screen. I want to finish there. Take it off. Whoops. Oh dear. This is going to drive me. Hopefully that's gone. 3 X's I had to put up. That's like this month, I think, when I'm looking at me sitting here looking at this reading, and Troy will show you the cards in a moment or two, but it's like it doesn't flow really well. I'm a person that loves flow when you move from one to another to another. So we're going to start in the beginning here. 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords, as you can see, arms across. So we already are in the third day of September. And we already know there are different groups meeting around the world. And from the look of this, they're not open to talking to anybody else. That's like they're closed. Everybody's kind of marking their territory or their ideas. They're forming. And I was watching that a little bit to notice how people are forming their blocks, you might say, their groups. Because if we look here, and I want to come to about the third, even to the fourth, as we move out of this kind of don't want to hear, don't want to know, this is how we are, this is what we think, to this symbol, which is an attitude symbol. And the King of Wands deals with thinking, moving, looking ahead, very much aware. So there is a lot of projection going on. And I want to say from today, which is the third, I want to go to about actually to the end of pretty well to the end of the week. So we're looking what 6, at least that, where people are projecting their ideas, thinking about it. Probably some communications going on with certain people, but I want to point out one thing that is very important with this symbol. And so right down here where he's holding his wand is thinking, thought. It is on the ground. It's grounded. It's not on his throne. So it's that to me here, my eye goes there. Like there are some very serious conversations that are going on as to what people are projecting, because that particular symbol is about projection. What are you wanting, where you're going, where you're heading? And then I think as we move to about the 6th, 7th of the month, we move into this Higher Arcana card, which is again another one of movement forward, but that's stagnant, which is the Chariot. There's a lot of strength in this particular symbol, a lot of strength. You've got everything you require to go to battle, basically. I want to point out one thing that I always like is in the middle of his chest. I'm going to put that up. You'll see a square, which is solid. The star is on his crown. But it's like, oh, sorry, I've got somebody like an itch on my nose, which is very disturbing. He's got his spear. He's ready for battle. But the sphinxes, which are leading his chariot, they're sitting there with their tails in their hands, which basically means they're not in action, but they're prepared for action. So that is the one thing we're going to realize here is that I think the lines are being drawn as to parts, who we are, where we are, what do we stand for. And then remember the Higher Arcana cards, of which the Chariot is a part of, and this next symbol, which is the World. What we call the more of the philosophical, stronger vibration. The world is the world. They're inside this laurel wreath of victory, which is on top of the Chariot's bottom, I should say the bottom, it's the top of his head, but it's on the bottom of his crown of the star. A star shows on its own light. It's not like the moon, which is reflected light, and thank goodness we don't have that in this reading, but it's always kind of more of a emotional. Whereas this one is balancing everything. Everything is solid. So there's some voices of reason out there. There's some voices of reason, and that's taking us right up towards the middle of the teen numbers, and so of the day, so to speak. So but it's very strong. It's almost like this is where we stand, and that's what the one thing I'm getting from this particular reading overall is that lines are being drawn. By the end, I think we'll find by the end of this month, there'll be still communication by the looks of it, but it's like this is our line. This is what we're putting, what we think, what we do, what we're doing. Now, as you're coming into your late teens, into your 20s of the month, there's another attitude card. This attitude card it's a water symbol. It's a cup. It's a water, emotional. One thing I find with the King of Cups is that it's like he makes his stand, but because he's on this rough water, you never quite know where he's going. And plus, his eyes are kind of looking back into the past rather than straight ahead. So there's a lot of some things I think that are going to be not really above board. I think there's going to be the people who are in control are going to be stating things, talking things, but I don't know. I wouldn't trust it all. I wouldn't say when you hear something, just wait, because I don't know if that's an absolute. It doesn't feel absolute to me. Now, when we're in the 20s of the month, we've got three symbols there that are coming up. We've got two of them higher arcana ones. Higher arcana has always got that higher order, the spiritual philosophy. Now, this is the Hermit. He says the answer lies within you, and you're separated, you're thinking, you're figuring and doing. So there's a lot of thinking, and I almost feel like, you know how when you're going to go do battle, you draw off and you consolidate. But we've got the Wheel of Fortune sitting right in the middle of this reading. The Wheel of Fortune is up in the air running around. Where does it stop? We don't know. There's a lot of, you've got the four fixed signs in here. You've got everything running around, a lot of emotional elements, a lot of thinking, a lot of figuring, but it's all up in the air. And I think you're going to hear a lot of words. When you're coming into around 24th, 25th of the month, you're going to have, and of course, we know that there's a shift at that time period when we're shifting from summer to fall. There's a lot of things being said. I don't think it's grounded. I just think it's up in the air and a lot of talks going on, and there's a lot of uncertainty. It's like we're not sure what's happening. Then comes, as we're moving to, we say the light 27, 28 in there, conflict, conversation. Now we're talking. See, there's not really talking at all going on up in any of the symbols. It's all statements. This is where we are. This is what's happening. But now we've got argument. We've got people making stands. We've got people saying, well, this is how it is. You know, we're going to be really, really strong on that. And I think that's going to go right up through those last times, except the very last day we have conciliation. Now we're going to talk. Now we're going to, maybe we're getting a little bit out of hand here. Maybe we need to pull things back in. Maybe we want to make this work. Now, a couple of things that stood out for me. Higher arcana cards are the higher pattern, that they're spiritual laws and lessons, and there's that. Look what we've got. We've got number 7, which is the Chariot. This is about changing, but this is about this is what we stand for, and now we're going to go forward. It is very much looking like going into battle. Then I'm putting them in the numbers. Then we have a number 9, the hermit. The answer lies within. This is when we do a lot of thinking. We're drawing back into our own camp. We're looking at what we're planning on, what we're doing. Then, right on that, we have number 10, the Wheel of Fortune. Come like the hub of the wheel, and you got your 4 fixed signs all around that all have books. We've got to figure this out. We're going to sort this out because, but when I look at the symbol, I don't see the inner movement running around. Sometimes when I look at this in people's lives, it's like turmoil. This shows that there's a possibility of talk of turmoil. So what you've got here, and then we have number 21, the world, where everything comes into balance. Now that's quite early, really, in the month. I think this is going to be an interesting month for those that are aware of the political elements that are going on. But the one thing that really caught my eye and feeling was the drawing into camps. People coming together that are making, what would you call it? Alliances. We stand here, we stand there. Division. The other element when I look at this that I like was we end up on communication. So no matter how much we talk or we make a stand or we say this is, as we come in the end of September towards October, we're going to have communication. We're going to be talking. Thank goodness there's some sane heads out there. But as a look at, this is basically, I forgot to say in the beginning, that this is North America. So that's the US and Canada for this coming month. But we know that plays a large part into the bigger world, the world at large, the world of whatever is happening and whatever is going. So it's really about, what are we choosing to do? You only have one's of thinking. You only have one card, the highest one, the King of Wands, always projecting out into the future. So there's a lot of thinking going on, and we know that's right. That falls between the Two of Swords and the Chariot, where the Two of Swords doesn't see anything, which we'll talk about in a moment. Is that you know how when people draw their alliance or draw their thinking, this is what I'm thinking. And the element within and I'll show you him again. His wand, my finger's in the way. His wand touches the ground, not his throne. He's grounded, he's thinking, he's figuring. I rather like the King of Wands because he is grounded and he's looking ahead. And we have to look ahead. We have to look ahead to see what's happening and what's going on. And the other one, which represents, is the King of Cups, which is emotional. Cups are always the emotional one. And if you can look very carefully at the bottom of this, it's very rough, the water. It's certainly not plain, like very placid. Plus, he's got a sly look in his eye. Can you honestly believe what this man says? I mean, what he represents? Strong. He knows what he wants, and in fact, can be very stubborn. So you've got, when you're looking at communication, there's very much a stubbornness here. So we have in the two core cards, which is the two kings, no queens, no pages, no knights. Do we have a knight? No, we don't have a knight. That's got the movement. So there's no real movement in here. This month is going to be fairly static, but lots of things happening. And so what we have here, what was the other thing I wanted to, we've got that. That's the only two court cards we have. But we have two sword symbols. Swords are conflict. We have it in the beginning, which is already taking place, the two. But if you'll notice, they have a blindfold. They're not looking, not seeing. I don't want to see, I don't want to know. I know what I think. but this is the one you got to watch for. And it's coming towards the end of the month. I think in the middle and late 20s of the month. Conflict. People making stands. Now, because the Six of Cups follows it, communication, I think we're fairly good, but there's a lot of talk. Well, if you do this, we'll do that kind of thing. But there is conflict here towards the end of the month, and that feels to me a little scary. I'm a little scared of this conflict, except for the Six of Cups, which sits right at the bottom and holds this as we move into October. Communication. When it comes down to it, all of these symbols up to this one, except Mr. Conflict here, conflicting away, holding his ground. This is about conciliation. This is about communication. This is about voicing what it is you have to say. And that is always the best thing if you have any conflict of any kind. When I looked at this reading, when I first put it out, it's got such strong symbology. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, hang on. We have 3 higher arcana cards. One that can represent a lot of movement. We have 2 attitude symbols, but the kings. And kings are at the top, and this is what they believe. This is where they stand. This is what they're dealing with. It's going to be an interesting month for those that kind of keep an eye on the world political stage. It's going to be an interesting month to see what exactly holds. And even though this, reading is for North America, because we're 2 countries here, side by side, very closely linked in lots of ways. And like all families, they squabble and have their differences. But at the same point, we're still bound together where we are geographically. I want you to relax and enjoy this month, and remember that the tensions that are going on, because right in the middle is this Wheel of Fortune, which is stationary to me when I look at it. It's not moving. And that's a good sign because it's there. This is what could happen, but it's sitting there. If it had a lot of flaying or symbology around it, I would be a little concerned. I'm not, because it's more talking, more, look what I've got. I've got this, I've got that, I've got the other. But it comes into the spinal Six of Cups, communication. And I can take a breath because it's every other symbol. Because even in the symbol before it, there's conflict. There's other people in it, but they're walking away. There's conflict, yes, but this is conciliation. So I think this month could be very, very interesting. And just remember, you're creating your world. You're creating what you're doing, how you're going, no matter what else is happening. Enjoy what's happening this month. You create what you're creating. But the world stage, I think, from this, as I put these all back in and put them back in my box, this world stage has got some very interesting things happening. So I just want to say good morning to Karen and good morning to Math07. And and he's just saying, because he's coming a little bit late, I'm watching from the start. Yeah, it's an interesting month. I always like to do these in the beginning just to get an idea of what we're heading into politically, world-wise, even though I'm reading just for North America, but we're part of the world. It's just like your life is a part of wherever you are and everyone you're interconnecting with and happening. So you want your life to work well. And of course, yes, I do these read for individuals a lot. It's been my tool since I was trying to think, 20 years old. I began to learn these. I'm biased. I find it the most wonderful personal tool you could have. And I enjoy knowing why some of the elements that can go on, and when I read for myself as well. But it's another way of looking at the world. In the meantime, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for understanding that the world is in constant change, as your world is, even though we can get stubborn and set as to how it's supposed to be, or upset by how it is. And I just want to say it's Wednesday today. Be back on Sunday morning. Just not sure what I'm going to do Sunday morning yet. That's forming in my mind. And then, of course, we have Monday nights mental mind treatments. And by the way, that was a big crowd last Monday night. Thank you so much for everyone who came. In the meantime, just have a good week. Enjoy. Breathe the sunshine. It's still sunny, and well, in our part of the world. My family's still down in New Zealand, and my granddaughter's just arrived down there. So enjoy whatever you have to experience. Good luck and blessings to everybody. Bye now.